nabanggit ko kanina na a lot of these things I wouldn't have done without the help of other people, of my mentors, my friends. Kasi nga, di ba, science is, ano yung term? Collaborative. Na hindi ka dapat mag-isa. Unless siguro super talino mo at super dami mong pera. Ano. Pero yung advice ko is to make friends. To find your mentors. Kasi nakikita ko palagi, no, kapag estudyante tayo, tapos nagsusulat tayo ng thesis or research paper, uso yun yung magtatago tayo sa mga advisor natin.
Guilty.
So, yung advice ko is to talk to your mentors. Kasi sabi nga sa akin, no, na when you are stuck doing your research, that's the best time that you should approach or ask for help. Kasi kung hindi ka magtanong, may ipit ka lang. So, make friends. Gawin yung friends, yung mentors nyo. Huwag matakot. Huwag matakot magtanong. And paano ba? Ano lang ako introvert ako presenting as an extrovert. Ano? Pero very important skill yung nakikipag-usap ka talaga. And to network. Kasi yung advisor ko ngayon si Doc Jerry, hindi ko siya makikilala ko, hindi ko lang siya randomly minessage sa Facebook at saka inadan. Tapos yung iba kong mga mentors and friends sa iba't ibang bansa, hindi ko rin naman sila magiging ka-close or makakausap unless I sent them that email. So, ang dami kong mga email to random people all over the world asking kung may opportunities ba kayo. If not, we can keep connected. No? So, keep your network strong, make friends, and lagi kang makipagtsikahan.
Cliché pero really it's the curiosity that drives a researcher to push themselves further. Kasi I think karamihan sa atin ay aware sa challenges ng science research sa Pilipinas, no? There are so many challenges, but I'm sure these can be overcome. Yan. Pero yun, yun din yung napapansin ko sa mga graduate students ko that thrive dito sa academic environment, no? Kasi if hindi ka talaga interested sa ginagawa mo, if wala yun, yung hindi ka interested, wala kang initiative to learn more, to know more, then I guess it will be a difficult path kung yung research path, yung academic research na path. So kaya ang nagda-drive talaga sa'yo, even for myself, no, ang nagda-drive sa akin na bakit gusto ko pa rin mag-research kahit na mahirap, ganyan-ganyan, is really curious ka, ano kayang sagot dito? So, paano kaya mangyayari pag ganito? So, kung meron kang mga ganong endless questions, I think you will thrive dito sa isang research career. Ayun. So, stay curious. Ayan. Mahirap ma-measure ang passion pero oo, pero yun. So yun, maging curious ka lang lagi kasi yun yung yung isang skill ng isang successful researcher. Hindi ka naubusan ng tanong.
Yes,
diba?
Yes, ma'am.
And then of course there are low points every time sa research sa path na yon. Pero sabi ko nga, lagi mo yung ma-overcome kasi lagi kang uhaw sa kasagutan, kumbaga. Yeah, so it just drives you to do more research.
Ako ang advice ko ay don't be intimidated kasi I think for people outside parang ang intimidating ng science na research. Pero if you do not let that get into you and if you're open to actually exploring at hindi ka kulong sa kung ano lang yung gusto mo, you'd get to explore and discover a lot of things. You'll get to encounter a lot of opportunities na you didn't think before na pwede mo palang ma-achieve. So ayun, kagaya nito, from geology, biglang napunta ako sa marine science and then, wow, nakapag-publish ng paper na na environmentally relevant. So, ayun.
My advice is pursue your passion, okay, for research. And if it would mean sometimes struggling for funding, don't give up. Be creative. You will always find a way, okay, to pursue your passion for research. Just make sure you find your niche and stick to that. I wanted to see more researchers to use just science in helping our countrymen, okay? Because science is so powerful, and for us researchers, it's already a gift that we're able to practice our science. But please, let's not forget that Philippines is a developing country, and the kind of science that we will do, sana can help alleviate the predicament or the circumstance of our countrymen. I'm not saying na, ibuhos na rin yung efforts niya, no? I mean, do part of your science, sana i-prioritize rin yung countrymen natin.
One advice that I always give in a talk like this is this. Now, well, we scientists na mahilig mag-invent, usually sometimes we think na yung solution na provide natin would be the best option or would be the solution to the problems of society. But it turns out, hindi enough yun eh. The society or people should accept the solution. I mean, it happens all the time and it happens very often na, ito po ang solution na to ay makakatulong sa inyong problema. Pero, ang tanong is, gagamitin ba nila? Sasabihin ng mga tao na gusto mong tulungan, masyado namang mahal yan. Masyado namang matrabahong gamitin yan. Masyado namang komplikado yan. Mas madali pa yung dati namin ginagawa. Diba? Which is why, dapat, when you think of something, or rather, embark on research that would try to help some people, somebody, you must involve your potential end user in the development. Get their feedback often. That's why they do that. Yun sa paras, yung parati namin silang tinatanong, makakatulong po ba sa inyo? That's why, even before we go out and do field work, we ask them, ano po sa tingin nyo dito? Ano po problema nyo dito? Ano po ba matutulong namin? Ano tingin nyo dito sa solution na to? Ano po ba namin ma-improve? Always get their feedback. Always involve your end user in the development of your solution. Okay? Para in the end, they will have a sense of ownership over the solution. They will use it because they were part of the solution. Diba? Yun. Isa sa mga ano na yun. You don't think na ikaw yung nakakaalam ng what's best for the problem. No? You have to involve the end user in the design. By the way, sino ba mga audience nyo usually?
Usually, ma'am, students, undergrad. We also have audiences na graduate students, tapos mga research assistants.
Okay. Sige. Anyway, very good. Young people. Eventually, young people some of them become parents. Alright. And then, kasi ganito, di ba? I said earlier that I think we begin our lives, young children, na natural scientists because usually the first thing you ask is why? Matanong tayo ng bata tayo at nawawala yan when we grow up. Pero sometimes, may mga iba sa atin na kumukuha nga ng mga science courses because mahilig sila sa science. Pero ang gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga audience is, sana kung mayroon kayong kids or young people in your family or your own na nahilig sa science, the mga parents, particularly talking to the parents, we really don't need to convince young people to go to the sciences. They are naturally born scientists. Kailangan natin i-convince yung mga parents nila. Yung mga parents yung nagsasabi ko, ito, kunin mo tong kurso na to kasi dito may trabaho dyan. Di ba? But we can show that science is a career. Science can be fun. Science can be adventurous. Science can be exciting. Science can lead to a fulfilling life. Okay? So, to the parents watching this podcast, kung nahihilig yung mga anak niya sa science, sana encourage niyo lang sila because there's a career, exciting career.
Definitely the work doesn't end. DRR as a field is very new, especially as we shift from research to practice. From practice to research. There's a lot of work to be done. So Pilipinas, maraming hazards. Everyone has their own experiences. Anyone who's working in DRR, when you ask them where they started, how they started, and why they do it, it's always a very personal reason, personal experience. And I'd say for those who aspire to get into this field, talagang to draw on that experience, to draw on the emotions, draw on the learnings from those experiences, and apply it moving forward. Kasi kahit na lahat tayo may experience and lahat tayo want to contribute to DRR, to reducing the impacts of hazards on your daily life, there's really a lot of work to be done. And regardless of the field you're in, regardless of what you're doing, big or small, there's always something to contribute. Kaya nga, even we have undergrads doing hazard research, hazard projects in their coursework. Kahit yung mga nagagawa nila, it's all new, it's all amazing, and it all can benefit some community kung saan man yung study area nila. If they were able to bring their projects, give it to their to the study area, benefit na yun. So there's really no work too small in DRR.
Dapat ma-figure out nila yung kung ano yung mga interest nila. And hindi dapat sila magmadali kasi minsan ang hirap talaga i-figure out kung ano talaga interest nila, and once that they were able to determine it, ngayon i-pursue nila. In terms of advice, wag silang matakot o mahiyang mag-consult kahit sa mga seniors or kahit sa mga kabatch nila, yung cohort. Kasi minsan maganda yung brainstorming between friends din. And syempre, as long na nakita ng mga seniors na interested ka talaga sa topic to, sincere ka, and you're willing to learn, they will be willing to help you kahit hindi nila expertise yung gusto mong gawin. Kung hindi man nila expertise, they are willing to vary or i-connect ka sa mga taong mas nakakaalam na ka-network na nila. Kasi yung mga naging advisors ko sa masters and PhD are hindi talaga nila expertise yung ginagawa ko. Yung sa PhD ko, may overlapping siya. Pero, for example, pagdating sa mga organic and biomolecular compounds, hindi yan ganun ka-specialist. Pero nagsalubong kami sa stable isotope. So, may mga iba sa atin kasi na ang tendency nila ay nagpapalit ng, kahit hindi sila masyadong interesado, nagpapalit ng research interest just to be able to get through. Pero, luckily sa akin, hindi ko kailangan gawin yun. Kasi, nagulat ako na they were willing to handle me kahit hindi talaga handed overlap yung interest. And ngayon na ako na yung may PhD faculty, willing din naman ako to do that. Kasi ang sa amin naman sa archaeology ay importante talaga yung open-minded. Kasi yung narrative na mabubuo mo ay hindi lamang nagagana sa ganitong ginagawa mo lang. You always have to corroborate your data with other available data to come up with a narrative, tsaka robust interpretation. So ano yun, yung maging totoo lang sa mga interest natin, tsaka syempre kung ano yun, ituloy lang. Syempre importante din na may trabaho tayo, nakakakain tayo, so importante yon. For example, may hindrance dahil kailangan mo mag-work, basta wag nyo lang i-give up kasi magkakaroon lagi ng opportunity sa mababalikan yung gusto nyo. At kapag tayo ay nasa lugar kung saan may capacity na tayo to mentor, advise, help others, then I think importante pa rin na grounded pa rin. Yung may humility lang lagi. And never ending naman yung pag-learn kasi. Kasi kahit ako aminin ko, marami akong gustong i-pursue kaya hindi ko na kaya ng specialized. So the best way for me ay learn a little bit of that, tapos collaborate na lang. As a field, maganda talaga yung archaeology kasi hindi siya yung something na naka-stuck in the past siya. It's something na you can always relate it to the present kasi maraming realization na at the end of the day, wala naman tayong pinagkaiba sa mga tao ng araw. We have the same concerns. Nagkakaiba lang yung context, yung circumstances. But maraming common threads na ma-figure out din na depende sa kung anong research yung pinupursue natin.